Okay, this one's ON30 instead of ON2, so I haven't regauged the wheels yet. This is just an example of how you can bend these. This is relatively bendable. Relatively is a strong word with resin castings, but it's a more flexible resin. You can see I can bend it a little bit. This has not been heated. So when I pop the wheels in, I literally pop them in from the top. I put one axle in the hole on one side, and then I'll actually push. You can see very carefully pulling that apart. It's better to kind of pull them both a little bit, but there's plenty in there you can see to get it in without breaking it. So a lot of this has to do with the resin type that you use. So I'll do the other side. I used to have a little tool that was kind of would cut out the axle. It was tapered. It had a little cutter that was tapered to that exact angle. You can get those on eBay. You can see how easy that was without breaking it. And I used to use those to loosen this up, but I lent it to a friend and haven't gotten it back yet. So literally what I do is just take that and pinch it, put it on some rails, and roll it back and forth several times. And I know that's incredibly crude. Works better on rails. You just do that a bunch of times, pinching it, and then it begins to roll better. This one's not rolling too good yet, but if you just do that a bunch of times, it'll actually make those trucks roll really smooth. I'll give you an example here. Here's the 2-foot ones that I'm doing for this car. They roll really, really well. So just some examples, and then to clean the car up, I used I don't know what this would be, 500, 1,000 grit, and I literally had to go around, you know, the letter boards and some of the windows a little bit on one car. You definitely need to sand the roof quite a bit. And you can see there, well, you know, I did a pretty good job. There's still a little bit of contour in some of the scribing, but overall, I think for, you know, you can see it a little bit right there. If I get the light just right, probably need a little more sanding here, but I don't think anybody will notice it riding on the ground. And I built just a little thing out of styrene to fit in the car. You do have to cut the one end because of the door and the combine. And then I haven't figured out how I'm going to attach it yet. I didn't think that far ahead, but it's a pretty good looking car for something that's pretty much 3D printed. Most of your work is going to be in sanding and putting on the finishing details. And I just made a end out of styrene and bent. Whoops! Made an end out of styrene and bent up some rails and soldered them up for the car. And then you can see there is some tabs on the car, some little dimples for drilling the holes for the handrails on the end of the car. So I took that truck that was having a hard time getting it to roll freely and put it on the little ON30 layout here. I was mentioning doing it on rails is better because I think you can push down and in at the same time. And I don't know, 20 or 30 run back and forth. Super smooth now. Just to show you the coach here, I had to do a lot more sanding on the coach for some reason. The prints are a little bit different on how they were angled on the print plate. But you can see I literally had to sand everything on this one. Even here in between the windows, this was a real pain to sand. And these areas, there were some marks I had to sand out. I did that on the combine as well. And you can see where I sanded it looks pretty rough. You know, the amount of sanding that's done, but it's pretty clear. I wanted to just kind of show you how much it can take on the car to get, you know, pretty nice finish. As I mentioned, it can be quite an eye irritant, so you might want to wear some goggles with it or something when you're sanding.